better start clearing out. You better start clearing out. You better start clearing out. Let's start throwing guys in here. Hurry up.
Okay, by now everyone knows that Border Patrol is in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we are only on day 2 of this entire operation. Day 1 had about 81 arrests from Border Patrol, but on day 2, protesters and advocates, they are starting to push back. So we have a lot to dig into, and one of our predictions actually became true. We'll get to that in a second, but first I want to give credit to Olia Scootercast and freedomnews.tv. That is where we are sourcing these videos from. I'm a massive fan of Olia and freedomnews.tv. Make sure to go give them a follow. Go tell them we say hello, especially Olia. She has amazing footage, so shout out to her.
Yep, whistles, whistles, whistles. You're a reporter. Okay. Whistles. They hate them. Yeah, blow on that shit as loud as you fucking can, dude. They hate it.
If you guys have been following my coverage in Chicago, I said the whistles were gonna become a problem for Homeland Security. Here we are on day 2 in Charlotte, North Carolina. The whistles are here on day 2. Now, if you haven't already, make sure to please like my video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, and it also helps others see the videos as well. And I think people want to see the whistles have made it to Charlotte, North Carolina, because we will be tracking this story every single day. So make sure to like the video and get it out there. And here come the whistles. So this is a near perfect image of exactly what we saw in Chicago as far as the insults and what we're seeing. Surrounding federal agents, using whistles, using cell phones and live streams to track everything, the racial insults, near perfect image. And since this is only day 2, I am personally a little worried it's gonna get a little more aggressive. I hope it doesn't, but because this is already day 2, it does worry me a little bit since we track this kind of stuff every single day, and we track the patterns throughout all of these protesters and their actions against federal agents.
You better start clearing out. You better start clearing out. You better start clearing out. Let's start throwing guys in here. Hurry up. Yeah, you're a fucking man. Look at that. You piece of shit. Let them agents alone. Let them alone. Look at that. You're out. Stop saying today, you bitch ass motherfucker.
Now, like I also pointed out, since we're only on day 2 within this Charlotte mission, I talked about this like 2 videos ago, the agents, I think, are trying to pick and choose their battles. Considering over in Chicago right now, there is like a 0 tolerance for anything you're seeing right here. When federal agents get surrounded and things get way too dangerous, that's it. You're going to either get arrested or tear gas is going to be used. We are already seeing signs that agents are trying to be a lot more, I don't want to use the word careful, but a little more lenient in these types of situations. I highly suspect it's because in Charlotte, the federal agents have a blueprint that they saw worked in Chicago and didn't work in Chicago, and I really think the federal agents are not trying to clash with the protesters in Charlotte like we're seeing in Chicago. The agents have a mission, they're trying to stick to the mission, and there are people who are trying to get in the way, and they don't want to deal with that. They just want to do the mission and get the job done and get out of Charlotte. I also want to point out, I mean, they're hitting the vehicle, they're walking up on the vehicle, they're already getting the license plates. Day 2. And if you needed any proof that somebody made contact on a vehicle, I mean, they literally left their handprint on the vehicle. I don't know how you'd get away with this one. We can see the evidence, but I just want to show you guys because Border Patrol and ICE don't get enough credit for this. They really are a lot more passive than people think. You really have to take it far to get arrested. You really do, as an American citizen.
Get the fuck out my city!
And real quick, before we continue, make sure to please subscribe to my channel so I can keep you up to date with this Charlotte story and others just like it. And if you see the QR code, that's for people watching TV. Take out your cell phone, scan the QR code. It's a lot easier to subscribe that way. Thank you guys so much. Now, I also want to point out, the environment is obviously going to be a lot different than Chicago. Like, you don't have this in the middle of Chicago. You're going to have these types of settings in Charlotte. So I am very curious how Border Patrol will navigate all of these different terrains, whether in the wooded areas, and we've seen other clips of Homeland Security walking through other wooded areas, and how that would affect how protesters might follow them or interact with federal agents. But let's move on to this next clip. And once again, shout out to Olia Scootercast and freedomnews.tv. Thank you so much for this footage. Check this out. Again, another environment where protesters, this person right here, get super close to the federal agents. Check it out. And look how close he gets right here. Somebody actually stops him.
La chingada de aquí, órale, no nos queremos.
What the fuck are you doing? Border Patrol! Border Patrol's out! Warning!
We're conducting immigration inspections. Is what we're doing. To answer your question.
Get them out of here!
We're not going to, okay, ma'am? We're not going to.
Okay, so once again, another clip where federal agents are really being extremely lenient. I mean, in all honesty, if the federal agents wanted to, they probably could start to push back a little bit more, but as you can see, they're trying to interact. The reason why I keep harping on this is because what we saw over in Chicago, Los Angeles, and Portland, you had a narrative that there is terror being caused, people are being arrested, and you know, our cities are becoming dangerous. We can clearly see in the raw footage interaction between federal agents and protesters, or the federal agents trying to explain, we're just trying to do our jobs. You're the ones who walked up on us. So make sure you guys are paying attention to that. I wouldn't be surprised if the narrative changes here very soon.
We're not gonna stop either then, because it's our call.
No vengan aquí al compadre, raza. Vayan a sus casas.
Fuck away, motherfucker! Half of y'all look like leaders anyway! Get the fuck out of here!
Get the fuck up out of here. Hey, I don't like the way. I don't. Suck my dick. Hey, no. I'm not going to. Suck my dick. I'm not going to. You can suck my.
Get out!
I'm a U.S. citizen, bitch.
Get out! Now go!
You can
Go
suck
the
my
fuck
dick.
home!
Okay, so this is what I mean by a narrative change, because we're already seeing a narrative that ICE, Homeland Security, they're going to come into Charlotte and create terror. I'm going to show you guys this right now. This is going to be from Drew Risinger, the elected Buncombe County, North Carolina Register of Deeds. These are his words, not mine. Ready? Watch this.
Hey friends, Drew Reisinger here, just wanting to check in. I'm seeing a lot of information coming from North Carolina officials saying that immigration raids might be starting as early as Saturday, as early as this weekend. I know there's some real tendency to just say, if ICE is coming with good intentions to get criminals off the streets, we welcome them with open arms. There's a certain point where I think we as Democrat officials just need to call a spade a spade. ICE is not well-intentioned. They're here specifically to terrorize our communities.
And this is before the raids even started. And again, that's why I think it's crucial we look at the raw footage, we look at the interactions, and we actually call out what we see. We're not only looking at the clashes, we're not only looking at the whistles and the screaming, but we are listening to the interactions, and we are hearing explanations that we are here to do a job and protect your communities, yet you have elected officials who are saying before the mission even starts, they are here specifically to terrorize our communities. So again, I'm not just trying to create this narrative and say, well, you know, we're talking about terrorizing communities. That already is a narrative.
They're not going after criminals. We've seen this again and again. I think it's incredibly important that we are just clear and honest with the community at this point. Customs and Border Patrol and ICE officials are specifically coming to terrorize communities of color, and I think it's really important that we call it what it is. Let's not pretend that these guys are coming here to help us with our crime rates.
Wow.
Crime rates in Charlotte, we know, are on the decline.
One thing I always notice in a lot of these arguments, crime rates are on the decline. But then it's like, okay, so what's the problem? If Homeland Security shows up, why wouldn't you want the crime rate to go down even more? But you hear this a lot. We heard it over in Baltimore, where the mayor was saying the crime rates are going down, yet it's still one of the highest crime rates. So again, we hear this argument all the time. Crime rates are going down. We don't need help.
Crime rates in Asheville are on the decline.
Meanwhile, that has to be one of the top priorities for the everyday American, whether Democrats or Republicans. Across the board, crime is like a top priority for a lot of people.
So let's be real. They're not coming to help us, and we need to protect our immigrant communities.
Now, here is a city councilman out of Charlotte. Check this out.
I grew up undocumented in Charlotte, in the neighborhoods that so many immigrant families call home. And today I stand before you as not only the first Latino, but the first formerly undocumented member of the city council. Yesterday, the sheriff's office confirmed that CBP will be in our city. However, no transparency, no accountability, no explanation, not to my colleagues behind me, not to the public, not to the families who deserve to know what's happening in their own city.
And just so you guys know, it is very difficult to find lawmakers who are supporting what's happening in Charlotte. This seems to be the main narrative. Terror and pushback. There was a slight chance we saw a lot more peace and unity. The governor of North Carolina was actually kind of receptive to ICE, Homeland Security, going into Charlotte. He was like, you know, we just have to see what happens. But it doesn't look like that's the narrative anymore or the message. Now it does look like exactly what we expected could happen in Charlotte, pushback.
Let me say this clearly. This is not about public safety. It is not about finding criminals. It is about fear, it is about quotas, and it's about control. When federal agents enter our communities without warning, without cause, and without humanity, they are not keeping us safe. They are terrorizing our neighborhoods, and we do not welcome our communities being terrorized and attacked. Our Queen City will not become...
Now, I don't know this creator's name. I apologize. I don't have your information. But this video is circulating when you look at the numbers of illegal immigrants in Charlotte. I mean, listen to this.
ICE operations in Charlotte have tripled arrests this year, creating uncertainty for 150,000 foreign-born residents. This impacts rental markets as tenants relocate and buyers hesitate. Landlords face higher vacancy rates while some neighborhoods see shifting demand. Stay informed through official city updates and community organizations to protect your housing decisions.
So for the people wondering, why is Border Patrol even in Charlotte, North Carolina? Why wouldn't you go to like Los Angeles or in Chicago? Well, you heard that number, 150,000 illegal immigrants. Now, I've heard a little bit more, I've heard a little bit less, but the number is around there. And that is a significant number. And Border Patrol is not out there with thousands of agents. We're talking about in the 200 to 300-ish agents. That's how many they used over in Chicago, and you saw how effective they were in Chicago. I expect the same results in Charlotte since they have the blueprint on how to operate and what to do. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, make sure to go follow Olia Scootercast and go follow freedomnews.tv. They also have a YouTube channel, so go tell them we say hi and we really enjoy their clips. Without their clips, I mean, we wouldn't have this raw footage to know what's actually going on. And leave your comments down below. I am curious how you guys feel about this. Make sure to please subscribe, please like. I will be covering this story in detail, and I want to give you guys the full context so we know what's happening. There's already a bunch of different narratives out there, and I want to try and give you a fair critique so we do know what to expect and what to think of this situation. Thank you guys so much for everything, and please pray for peace. We do need that right now. As I always say, pray for peace. Thank you. God bless, and we'll see you all later.